Good morning from Walt Disney's 1914 home. We're back in Kansas City, Missouri at 3028 Bellefontaine Avenue. Now, maybe you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, didn't Walt Disney grow up in Marceline, Missouri? Well, he was born in Chicago and did grow up in Marceline, Missouri. But the part of the story most people never hear is that Walt Disney only lived there until he was about 5 or 6 years old before his father, Elias, packed the family up and moved to Kansas City looking for better opportunities. One of the first things he did here was buy a newspaper route and put Walt and Roy Disney to work, waking up at 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning, having them troop all over town, all over Kansas City, delivering papers in the rain, the snow, the slush, the Kansas City winters, which is probably why Walt always glossed over this part of his life, because he pretty much got this idyllic childhood in the country. You know, we've seen that house in Marceline, Missouri where Walt Disney grew up, and his dreaming tree and his barn, those beautiful fields, that beautiful farmland. And then once they got to Kansas City, that boy had to grind and grind the rest of his life. Well, in 1914, things were going well enough that Elias moved his family into this house right here at 3028 Bellefontaine Avenue, which is sort of a rougher area of Kansas City today. But this home, after the last one of the Disney family moved out around 1921, somewhere in there, was purchased by a couple from Mississippi, the Young family, who moved in, and their descendants are still living here today. In fact, Miss Roberta, who I was just talking to for a long time, sitting on the porch and hearing stories, actually co-authored a book about this house, which you can get on Amazon. It's really cheap, it's like $5. I actually ordered one while I was sitting here on the porch with her, talking to her, looking at old pictures that they've got. She's the sweetest lady ever. The book is actually very, very interesting, very affordable. I highly recommend getting it. And yeah, since I'm in Kansas City, I definitely had to make a stop here at the Bellefontaine house. And if the Marceline, Missouri house gets a lot of attention and is very famous because that's where Walt Disney learned to draw and he was drawing pictures for some of his neighbors, did his first paid drawing, this house should be even more famous because some of his earliest experimentations with animation took place right behind this house. In the garage, they had a camera set up out there. And we'll go around and see the garage in a minute. Yeah, but there have been multiple generations of the Young family living here, and you can see there's a little Mickey sign up in the top window there. They basically moved in here not long after the Disneys, and of course, Miss Roberta, she remembers her grandparents telling her that Walt Disney himself used to come back by this house when he would visit and start to cry when he'd come through Kansas City. Other descendants, some of the Walt's nephews, you know, Roy's kids and grandkids have come here, Walt Disney's descendants. In fact, she was telling me sometimes they get whole busloads of tourists out here. Now, the neighborhood can be a little bit rough. There's a few abandoned houses, one burned down house way down there at the end. The first time I came here in 2014, my friend Tyler and I pulled up on the street and a cop pulled us over, was like, "What are you boys doing in this neighborhood?" I had to tell him, "Oh, we're going to the Walt Disney house." He said, "Be careful, this is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Kansas City." But I've never felt unsafe here. Miss Roberta, she'll keep you safe. It actually looks like there's been a lot of improvements to the neighborhood. Some houses fixed up. I saw a lot of new stores driving in, so maybe the neighborhood is on the rise, which is always a good thing. But yes, this is where Walt Disney lived. There are pictures in the book that she co-authored where they're sitting on the porch right here. Obviously, the concrete porch was a later addition. There was a wooden railing back in Walt's time and stuff, but there are pictures of Walt and Roy and some of the family sitting on this porch. This is where they spent some of the formative years, starting in 1914, before the family moved back to Chicago. Just for a brief period of time, Walt Disney went overseas in World War I, right after World War I, to be an ambulance driver in France. I'm sort of condensing this story, right, for time's sake. And then he came back to Kansas City solo, and this is where he started working in sort of the film industry, the advertising industry, drawing and working on his early animation, some of which took place right in this garage. Kansas City is where he formed his first company, Laugh-O-Gram. Well, I should say one of his first companies, but I'm trying to keep it short and simple. But this house right here plays a big part in the Disney saga. One young boy right here, one young boy who had trouble staying awake in school and didn't study too well because he had to wake up at 3 and 4 in the morning and deliver newspapers and trudge through ice and snow. One poor boy with his family hard on his luck, dreaming and wishing that they had stayed in Marceline on that idyllic farm lifestyle. One young boy from this big city neighborhood would go on to found an empire in California, an empire that still exists today. And it all started with a mouse. Anyway, I'm coming back to you from Kansas City today. I have to go back to Planet Comicon, one of the biggest comic conventions in the Midwest, if not the biggest, but there was no way I was gonna miss taking a visit to Walt Disney's boyhood home, his second boyhood home over here. And as soon as Miss Roberta saw me, she's like, yeah, come on up here. I know what you're here for. She spent a long time talking to me. We exchanged numbers. I'm gonna come back and visit her and get some stories about Kansas City. She says she has stories for days, and I believe her. She's a really sweet, wonderful lady. And she let me come up in her yard and trudge around, stomp all over her grass to take a really good look at Walt Disney's Kansas City home. They lived in another house, I think, from 1911 to 1913 that was later demolished, but this house is still standing here, and I love that she's got this little Mickey Mouse concrete statue. They had some bad wind here, some bad storms. She said this statue, the concrete fountain here, got knocked over twice, and Mickey's head got broken. She took him to get fixed, and then she had the guy who fixed him make a copy of that Mickey. He's over there on the porch, just in case, so she has a backup in case the wind blows a little too hard ever again. One of her uncles found this little Mickey and Minnie at a garage sale, and you can see there's a little Mickey Mouse Funhouse sign in the window. And there's a little Minnie Mouse down here, and of course, the Mickey and Company sign up in the top window. That's how you know you've reached the right house. Miss Roberta, who's so sweet. I mean, I came for the house and ended up making a new friend. I met her years ago. She just sort of waited and said, take some pictures, and went inside. Today, I sat on the porch for a while. We had a nice conversation. Like I said, I promised to come back. And she was trying to find this one set of pictures, so she actually let me step a little ways inside the house, something she says she's never let anybody do. And she was just so sweet, so welcoming. I keep running into really good Kansas City hospitality on this particular trip. Anyways, I gotta go to Planet Comicon. I'm out of here in a second, but I do want to walk around and show you that garage for a second. Actually, maybe we'll take the car and drive around, so we'll get out of here a little faster, get out of her hair. But this is it. This is where the family would sit. Remember, this is long before air conditioning, so the entire Disney family would have sat on the front porch of this house, watched their neighbors go by. In fact, there's pictures of Walt with some of the neighbors on this street, growing up out here in his little newsboy cap. He literally was a newsboy. What an incredible piece of world history, really. I mean, think of the influence that the Walt Disney Company has had around the world, and part of the origin story was right here. But one of the coolest things, I think, about the story of this house is how the Young family has had it for generations now, at least 3 generations, and then Miss Roberta herself is a grandmother. So that's at least 5 generations of the family that have lived in and around this house, which is an incredible story. I highly recommend, if you're in the Kansas City area, come out here during the daytime though, you know, normal people hours. I wouldn't come inside the gate unless she invites you, but definitely stop by and snap a fun pic at one of Walt Disney's boyhood homes. Well, really not so much boyhood as teenagehood, right? I mean, he moved into this house when he was around 12 or 13 and lived here basically until he was 16, something like that. This is all off the cuff. I didn't have much time to prepare, sort of spur of the moment coming down here first before the convention today. It's a little windy, but otherwise the weather was so nice. I figured today might be the day. I think tomorrow might be cloudy, supposed to rain and all that stuff. This is boring information, not relevant to you, but I decided I needed to come back here on the fly and check this place out, Doc. Okay, before we leave the neighborhood entirely, just gonna hop in the rental car and drive around the back. I'll show you guys the garage really quick. I just moved the car a little bit around the corner so she could finish her coffee in peace and not worry about me. She kept coming out to check on me. She's really sweet. What a nice person. But here it is, right here in this alley, recently kind of refreshed. There's the back of the old Disney house, looking much as it ever did back in the day. Much less changed than the front of the house, which has sort of been reclad, but the back of it shows you kind of exactly what it used to look like back in Walt Disney's day. And then over here is the garage, which they've just updated and redone the door for. She says her uncle has an old car in there or whatever. I think she said it was her uncle. And it's right in the spot where Walt Disney used to do his early animation tests. His dad would let him mess around with his buddies right here in the garage. At least that's the story, the way I've always heard it. What an incredible piece of not just Kansas City history, not just American history, but like I said, world history. Now you can see a little bit, like I said, there's some abandoned houses in this neighborhood. Some of the places have fallen on hard times. You know, you drive around doing the Marty McFly, going I don't remember bars being on these windows. But like I was saying, and especially compared to 2014, which is the last time I was out here for more than just a drive-by in front of the house, I see a lot of signs of hope. I see some new businesses opening up on the way here on sort of the main street. I see some of the houses in the neighborhood are all fixed up. Yesterday, driving through downtown Kansas City, I was so surprised how much downtown is all cleaned up. So many hip happening spots down there. It really feels like overall, Kansas City itself is on the rise. Now, if you thought that house was impressive, if you thought that was neat, I'll show you another Kansas City landmark, Disney related, that nobody knows about. You're gonna have to stick around till the end, because first we've got to go back to Planet Comicon. It's kind of funny because Planet Comicon is one of the biggest conventions in the Midwest, pop culture conventions. So many Disney fans are there and they don't even know they're 10 minutes away from one of Walt Disney's old houses. Don't worry, if I have my way, we'll see and hear a lot more about Disney's time in Kansas City before my trip is over. It's just so awesome. Walt Disney's house. Crazy. I love that American success story, you know, going from a poor boy delivering newspapers to the top of the top. I mean, I bet if you told people in that neighborhood back in the day that Walt Disney would grow up to be world famous and a world icon, people would have laughed in your face. That Disney boy? Come on. Oh, this is weird. We are right under the convention center. Look at that. That's literally the convention center up ahead. We are just going underneath it right now. There's a whole freeway underneath it. I never knew that while I was up there yesterday. Weird. Well, it was way easier to find parking today, so I'm hoping that means it's a little less busy and I can actually see more of the stuff in those awesome booths. Yesterday, it was chock. It was packed in there. Oh man, I spent so much time with Miss Roberta this morning that the convention is nearly over. Just a few hours left to go. Some people are already leaving. Gosh, the architecture in Kansas City is so gorgeous. I mean, nothing where I live, it seems like, is built out of brick and stone, you know, all stucco and everything. Seeing buildings like this always gives me a little thrill. Oh yeah, much less busy than yesterday. All right, we're back at the Kansas City Convention Center. Let's head back inside, out of the wind. I thought it was Sunday morning, but apparently it's Wednesday out here. Looks like there's still plenty of panels going on, plenty of stuff going on here. I don't know why, I never go to panels, you know? I just don't like sitting still, I guess, so I'm always going on the show floor. That's where I spend the bulk of my time at every convention, and I'm never sorry afterwards. I can always watch the panels online later. All right, elevator going up. Oh yeah, much more space to move around today. I don't know how some of these cosplayers that sort of almost barely have anything on are surviving out there in the wind. It's a little nippy outside. Some of them are hardcore. Oh wow, that's a first. I don't think I've ever seen anyone dressed up as the Crow before. Oh, look at this. I see something sneaky behind Kylo Ren over here. It looks like he's guarding his father. Look at Han Solo frozen in carbonite. I didn't see that yesterday. I'd like to own one of those one day, a Han Solo in carbonite. Of course, this is the real one. That's the real Han Solo right there. I mean, why else would Kylo Ren himself be guarding it, right? Oh, I love this. Look at Palpatine there. Checking out this poster. This lady brought him an Until Dawn poster. There he is, the Emperor himself, approving of the film. Must be a good movie, I've never heard of it. But if Palpatine approves, then so do I. Oh, look at that Jawa right there, Darth Jawa. I like that. Just give me a little warning. Oh man, I just nodded to him and said, Your Highness, and he gave me a little nod. I should have said, Your Imperial Majesty. What was I thinking? I blew it. I love all the custom props out here. Look at this freaking chicken warrior right here. And look at this. Adopt a baby Groot. Oh, and I love this. Look at the little marshmallow guys. Ah, look at them melting. Oh, this guy's doing build guides on YouTube, SKS Props. You want to learn about props? There you go. Follow me on YouTube free. There's a QR code. That is one sick Wolverine suit. Oh, he's painting some armor right now. Look at that. He's working on it. Crazy. Man, this is such great stuff. A lot of it's just built out of foam, but it looks so good, you know? I saw this booth yesterday. 3D HQ. We 3D print you. I gotta get this done one day, right? Get a little 3D print of myself. Oh, I think my friend Nick from Walter's Works might be able to help me with that. Look at all the people that have gotten themselves 3D printed. That'd be a cool wedding souvenir, right? Get yourself 3D printed and put on top of your own wedding cake. Looks like this is Back in Time Comics and Toys. They have a physical location in Liberty, Missouri. I see lots of sweet vintage pieces on that back wall. An E.T. TV tray. Man, say that 10 times fast. Got the Western Town right there, the Little People, Fisher-Price Western Town. Oh, that is cool right there. The Tyco A-Team Action Racing set. You never see those. Funny, when I said it's less busy today, that's all I meant, that it's less busy. Still quite busy, man. It's still heaving in here. I can't blame anyone for wanting to come out here, though. I mean, there's so much good stuff. Got Painted Dragon Studios here, some fine art fit for nerds. Seeing that TARDIS reminds me that David Tennant is here. Probably the best, well, probably my favorite Doctor Who. Speaking of Doctor Who, exterminate! The Dalek is back. The Dalek! Yes! Wow, look at all the 3D prints. So many. Oh, dude, that is one sweet Boris Karloff. There's the homie, Frankenstein's monster. I forgot Matthew Lillard is also here. Yesterday, I was walking around wondering, why are there so many guys in the Scream costume? And I literally saw Matthew Lillard going for a restroom break, and I'm like, oh, that's why. Here's Toink right there, and there's Julian spitting webs at me, doing Spidey tricks. Yes! Oh, you got the Runaway Railway shirt on. Fitting. Julian's helping out. Toink! Over here, they got a lot of crazy stuff, actually. Look at this. Rick and Morty shirt action. It's some Rick and Morty blankets. I think the voice actors from Rick and Morty are actually here, too. I wish I had been allowed yesterday just to at least film the booth area where the celebrities are so you can see their banners above them. They were pretty tight on security in that area. They'd catch you quick when you whipped out the camera. Catch you quick. Well, that's their job. Can't blame them. I love this one. Nerdastalgia. They got comics. They got toys. I personally am way more of a toy collector than a comic book collector, although I do have some comics. I have some old Uncle Scrooge comics, got Usagi Yojimbo. I got a few Batmans here and there. Got some of the continuing adventures of Indiana Jones or whatever that Marvel comic series was. A lot better than the movies that they made after the original trilogy. Kind of fun. Oh, look at this original Ninja Turtles, my childhood. One of my favorite things about the Ninja Turtles is that even Playmates, they keep reusing these molds over here. Vintage Ninja Turtles were worth like nothing. I remember my friend Glenn had a huge pile of them. We sold them to Kelly's Toys for like nothing. The whole kit and caboodle. And then like 5 years later, they were worth their weight in gold. But what I was about to say is Playmates just keeps reusing those molds. They keep cranking out turtles, not just new turtles from newer movies and newer series, but all the old original ones. A lot of collectors will turn up their noses at reproductions. Not me. I love buying a new old Technodrome. It's probably one of the biggest Christmas presents I ever got, the big old Technodrome. When I saw that they reissued it, I mean stamped from the same molds, and it was on Amazon, I was like, oh, I've got to have that. I've got to have it rekindle a part of my childhood, you know? I swear that's like the second or third Green Day shirt I've seen today. Did they just play in Kansas City recently or something? What the heck? Pop Cathedral. Oh boy. Got some pop culture stained glass windows and prayer candles, little Darth Vader prayer candle. Dude, if my Italian aunts would catch me with a prayer candle with Darth Vader on it, I'd be whooped. This is cool. It's nice to be back today. It's nice to see some things I didn't see yesterday. Nice to always kind of have the lay of the land in mind as you move around the show floor. Oh, turn your eyes away, children. Turn your eyes away. That's why it's always good to have 2 days at least at any big convention, especially if you're getting in line or doing any meet and greets and stuff like that. You almost need 2 days. All right, I don't know what's going on here. I think a little Jedi training.
Shake the hand, shake your arm, shake it back, shake your head in.
Ah, center yourself. Feel the force. And there's a whole host of new Star Wars cosplayers out today, or they've switched outfits, because I'm seeing all kinds of outfits I didn't see yesterday. I love that he's got like Luke's Lonely Island behind him as he's doing the Jedi training over here. This guy's trying to get some Jedi training for free. He's on the wrong side of the barrier. I've seen a lot of 501st members out here today. Maybe I missed it. I haven't seen any like marches of stormtroopers. That's my favorite thing, when the 501st gets together in force and you just see like a whole squad of Imperial troopers, especially stormtroopers, just trooping around. Hey, Carmen Sandiego. There she is. I found her. Okay, this I didn't see yesterday. Look at this guy up here. You got a little Cobra Command Center going on. I like that. Cheers. Oh, this is cool. Look at this. It says Finest, a G.I. Joe costume club. thefinestcc.com. I didn't know there was such a thing as a G.I. Joe costume club. Look at the sick photo op they've got going on out here. They've got little laboratories set up. Man, this is elaborate stuff. A G.I. Joe costume club. Now that's a cool idea. I've never seen that before. Dude, like how sick is that? All these are set up. All these backdrops are set up by fans. And for the most part, offer free photo ops out here. I mean, sometimes they take donations, or if they have celebrity guests, they might have to charge for those photos. Look at this stuff. I didn't know you could cosplay as G.I. Joe. That is so cool. I've never heard of a G.I. Joe cosplaying group before.
Yes.
This is like so cool. The finest, right?
Yes,
Finest. Finest. Just finest. No the. Finest. That's so cool. You got your little Cobra Command Center, lookout tower. This is rad. This made my day seeing this. This is awesome, guys. G.I. Joe. So cool. Okay, somebody tell me what these guys are. I've seen these guys cruising around. Everybody goes, oh my gosh, and takes a picture with them. Are they just Norsemen or something? Oh, look at this. We got a little ecto vehicle over here. Look at this right here. Okay, so you're the I see. The Midland Empire Ghostbusters. Dude, you're all kitted out. You got your traps. You got the thing on your head right here. You're ready for Gozer. Oh my gosh, it opens. I need one of those. I never had the Kenner one when I was a kid. I had the backpack, the proton pack. Never had the ghost trap. I always wanted it. I gotta get one. I love that. I love that little station wagon converted into sort of an ecto one. You got Slimer peeking out through the back window. Oh, the license plate says Ecto 3D over here. Oh, look at that. Who are you gonna call? Probably these guys. Probably these guys. Then look at this. Iron Brothers of Topeka next door. Not exactly sure what that is, but they've got somebody dressed up as Stan Lee. They've got their own Stan Lee out here at Planet Comicon. It's cool seeing how many families dress up out here. Oh, wow. Look at that. That is so cool. You look amazing. Both of you look amazing.
You've got to watch out for this guy, though.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Captain Skelly McCrossbone.
Oh, I like
sail
that.
with the Barbosa clan.
Oh, I see. I can see that. I can
see.
I like that monkey in your hat
Jackie
right
has
there.
got my coins, and so do I.
You're all decked out.
The damn monkey is on their hat.
I know Captain Jack Sparrow wants to get his hands on those coins really bad.
I don't know.
I mean, well, you know what? I actually wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I'm just trading for something more liquid.
Oh, I see. You're wondering where the rum's gone.
I do. I don't know why it's gone. If I did, I would be ahead of the game.
That's awesome. Well, it's nice to meet both of you. Happy sailing. All right, bear with me for a second, so I want to relate an anecdote. I was with my friend Bob Gurr the other day, and I was telling him, you know what? I've noticed a through line with all of my friends, all the people that I really love in this world. And I said, Bob, you're the perfect example. You're 93 years old, and you still play. You still use your imagination. You know, when I whip out the camera, he's playing along. And I was telling him, that's the through line. I just love friends that can still play. That's why I love these comic conventions. Like, perfect example was those pirates back there. Whoa, look at those Spartans. They look so cool. That's amazing. Man, I want to get Spartan armor. I love that. UNSC meets with Starfleet. Classic. See, look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about, playing along. And that's what people do at these comic conventions. I mean, those pirates were a perfect example. People gather here to play together. Oh, that is so cool. Look at that. Data. I've seen a lot more Starfleet people today, a lot more Star Trek cosplay, which I love. I love these dogs over here in their little remote control car cruising through the convention. You turn your head, there's Spartans taking a picture with the skeleton dog-faced lady over here. I mean, just look at that. Look at that. It takes all sorts of people to make up a world, and it feels like a lot of the best of them gather at these comic conventions. They feel so wholesome, you know? Whoa, look at these furry heads over here. You got a warthog there, you got some kitties. Crazy. This is so weird and cool. There's a little booth here where they're teaching people how to sew. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but it's free. It looks fun. Oh, this explains why I kept seeing The King yesterday. You guys are promoting the Kansas City Renaissance Festival?
We're doing a special right now too that is 4 tickets for $60.
Oh, that's awesome.
They retail at $25.
When is it?
It starts August 30th and it runs until October 13th.
Oh, awesome.
And we're going to be open on Labor Day as well. There's another Monday. What's the other Monday? Columbus Day.
Oh, you look amazing, Your Royal Highness. I like that goblet there.
Thank you.
Very cool. It's a little easier now that it's less crowded to sort of talk to people. I could never get to this back corner yesterday. I mean, I got back here for just a second. I was checking out those Halo cosplayers right there and the little Halo that they built. Oh, I didn't realize they had this Chevelle out here as sort of a raffle prize, whatever this booth is. Mind Drive. Not sure what it is, but Mind Drive is raffling off a freaking Chevelle. Now that is sweet. I'd love to win that. Get a little bit of a closer look at this UNSC booth yesterday. I kind of stood on the backside of this giant Halo that they built. which is so impressive. I mean, that is so cool. Oh, I could never walk in front of the booth yesterday. It was just way too crowded. I couldn't see all of this stuff. I mean, this is amazing. I don't know how much time it takes to put together costumes like that, but it must take quite a while. How sick is that? Oh, what in the world is this? Look at the size of that hat. Free State Beer presents the Lawrence Busker Festival. So I'm assuming that's some kind of music festival in nearby Lawrence, Kansas, where my friend Al lives. Check this out. We got a Star Trek group over here. All it says is Star Trek group on the sign. There's a Gorn here with a Klingon dagger through his eye. Are you the Klingon that put the dagger through this Gorn's eye?
He got a little bit bitey. We had to fix the problem.
That's so cool. It's the first Klingon I've seen. Oh, okay. Look at this. The Iron Brothers of Topeka have obviously returned to their booth to see Stan Lee over here. Look at those Iron Man suits. Those are crazy. I mean, that is a sick pick opportunity right there. I mean, it's crazy. You look one way and you see Stan Lee and Iron Man and friends. You look this way and Mr. Spock is taking pictures with some pirates. You see so many things with every turn of the head. But if someone asked you at the end of the day, what did you see today? I don't know that I would have an answer unless I brought the camera with me. It's so overstimulating. You see so much. I'm just happy to see so many people going all out with the cosplay today, because usually the last day of a convention will be the sort of softest day. That's the day a lot of cosplayers will finally take off their uniforms and do a little shopping and stuff like that. But today is still jam-packed, and I'm seeing so many characters that I'm not familiar with. I love it. I love learning about new stuff and asking people like, who are you? Which I just realized is something you can't always ask people. You can't always walk up to someone on the street and go, who are you? All right, now if you didn't see my video yesterday, there was a lot of this guy in it. Don Rosa, the most misunderstood Disney artist on the planet. Someone I'm a huge fan of. I explained the whole thing in the last video. Got to come over here and have another conversation with Don when he gets back from the restroom. Friend of mine and him are going to conduct some business, I hope. Okay, now I didn't know this existed, this book right here, Don Rosa. I still get chills. It's The Amazing Life and Work of Don Rosa, which is incredible. That is one fat book over here. Steven lugged that huge book just for me to check out. I really appreciate that. I gotta get myself a copy of this over here. I had no idea that existed. This is so awesome, this book. I have got to get myself a copy of this. Don did a lot more than just Scrooge. He did a lot of stuff that most people don't know about, like Captain Kentucky and a bunch of other different comics. Finding out that reading the life and times of Scrooge McDuck is just like sticking your toe in the water.
It says there's 3 volumes of Captain Kentucky.
There's 3 volumes of it?
I thought there were only 2.
Oh man, I had to spend some time over here with Don Rosa, again, watching him sketch and just shooting the breeze. I also met a really nice family called the Lloyds that came out here just because they knew I was going to be out here. It was really nice to meet them. Took a sick pic, got a fun one. In fact, I've had a lot of people stop me today, and even more today than yesterday. They're like, dude, you got to get a booth here next year. We want to buy some Random Land hats and books. It's like, oh, they're online. No, we want to get them from you. Like I already said yesterday, I'm thinking it over. I'm trying to see how to work that out. I love checking out the art booths. I love all the 2D art out here. I know it doesn't make for the most interesting filmmaking, but I just love it. I wish I was a better artist. Like, I wish I was better at drawing, and practice makes perfect. I just never have time or the attention span to practice enough. Kind of threw painting and drawing to the side. I was working on wood carving the last couple of years. But coming to stuff like this makes me really want to get back into drawing and painting again. Dude, there's so much rad stuff to buy here. I'm kind of glad I blew all my money at Don Rosa's booth yesterday. I'm safe. I have no other cash on me. I'm impressed by the merchandise, but I'm even more impressed by the cosplayers, man. They put so much work, so much effort into these outfits, and some of them are so wacky and strange. I don't know if they're characters or something just the individual person made up. There's so many like crossover characters. Well, my favorite is when you meet people who have just created their own characters, and then they'll like come out to the same convention year after year to where they almost become a character at that convention, if you know what I mean. Oh, look at this, see? Trouble. Vintage toys over here. Oh my gosh, look at the old monster toys. I don't know what these Frankensteins are right here. Are these old Mold-A-Rama Frankenstein toys? I've got this guy right here, the little creature, the guy, little Sparks. Oh, that is an AHI Jiggler, a rubber jiggler. Raymond Castile from Raymond Castile's Basement of Horror gave me one of these when I saw him in St. Louis last year. I love old monster toys. If you're into monster toys, trust me, check out Raymond Castile's Basement of Horror. Great show. So many cosplayers everywhere. I love kind of finding a spot by like a main entrance or a main exit and just people watching. Some of the outfits are so crazy and obviously take so much commitment to wear all day long, you know? Oh my gosh, there's so much anime stuff too. Allie keeps trying to get me to go to an anime convention. I just don't know that much about anime. I've watched a little bit of anime, mostly because of her, right? It's just such a deep rabbit hole. I feel like it's such a crazy commitment if you're gonna get into that stuff. All right, I'm leaving the zone of the comic books and headed in to the danger zone over here to see some of my friends. I can see a lot of the celebrities are gone. Look at this. This is what I mean by danger zone. Security notice. No photography, no video, no audio recording either. I can see Don Bluth is over there at his booth. I can see my friend Chris Bartlett is still rocking and rolling over there. He does all the droids for Lucasfilm. Great guy, honestly. And then on the other side of that wall, I believe John Rhys Davies is still working the crowds over there. He's committed, man. He'll stay all day long until the line is done. Anyway, I'm about to cross the Great Barrier. I'm about to cross that boundary. Gotta put the camera down for a second.
Get yourselves in.
Look at the size of this Wookiee right here. Oh my gosh. I feel like a scruffy nerf herder. All right, well, as you saw, I got to meet Chewbacca and Han Solo and Leia. And I hooked up with John's manager again, John Rhys Davies' manager. We were walking around. He's introducing me to people. I met Ming Chen from the comic book guys. He was super cool. Talked to me for a while. I got to meet Don Bluth over there just for a moment. Everybody's been like really encouraging me, like, you gotta come be at the show, be part of the shows. I'm slow to make decisions, guys. Look at the Sith load of toys. A Sith load of toys in here. Oh yes, I just got these, the NECA TMNT3 figure. Oh my gosh, muscle. Dude, I love this. I love the throwback Toy Biz packaging on these figures here. Oh, and look at this. I'm your Huckleberry. I actually bought some art from Val Kilmer. I used to email Val Kilmer, actually on MySpace. He used to have a music profile on MySpace. Nobody believed it was really him, and I used to message him back and forth. He was super, super nice. I saw him in his one-man show where he portrayed Mark Twain. Super nice guy there, too. So when he launched like his art sales on the internet, I bought a stencil, like a piece of stencil artwork that he did of Doc Holliday. I've got it in my office. One of my favorite things. This has been such an amazing experience. It's only been frustrating. The only bad part of it is that so much has happened off camera that I really can't tell you about at the moment. I guess it'll all be on the Patreon podcast very soon. If you didn't know about the Patreon podcast, I do have a Patreon. I try not to stick that in your face every video or anything. That's a big part of how we make it happen, Cap'n. Oh no, I wish I hadn't seen this. Oh, you guys remember these? The Playmates Star Trek ship, 65 bucks. I want this so bad. I'm just trying to figure out how in the world am I going to fit that in my luggage? Where would I put it when I get home? That's the collector's dilemma. Someone once asked me, why do you always joke about moving out of state, like moving to Missouri or something like that? I'm like, because I can't even own a house. I can't never buy a house in California. Oops. Okay, Allie always says, try not to manifest that. Okay, it's unlikely that I'll be able to ever afford to buy a home in California. Then I go to other states, and for a third of the price of my rent at home, you can buy like a farm with a barn on it. Imagine if I had a barn. The collector in me would be rejoicing. A whole barn to fill. It's hard to explain the collecting thing to people who just don't have that collector gene. I think people sometimes think like, oh, it's all about having lots of stuff. That's not really it. I mean, sometimes it's, like getting to play with all the toys. That's part of it. It's like a holdover from childhood. But there's other things like rare books and comic books, or even like my old vintage bicycles, like my 1940s and 50s bicycles, where you feel like you're not really the owner. You're not buying it to own it. You're buying in to be the caretaker of that precious item until it goes on to the next. But you're buying it to kind of preserve history in a way. I know a lot of old car owners will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I definitely feel like there's a gene. Like, I feel like it's part nature, part nurture. Like, so for one thing, I know when I was a kid, my grandpa passed away, and I can remember when they did the yard sales, right? Like selling all his old clothes and everything. And not to make myself cry in the middle of Planet Comicon, I was like, I'm right on the edge. But like, that really broke my heart. That was my first encounter of like, but all his stuff is just going away. And then when my son was born, I sold off all of my collectibles just to sort of make ends meet. So that was like not really a trauma, but sort of second wave of losing everything. And then I started to rebuild some of my beloved collectibles, like my collection and stuff. And then I ended up getting divorced and going through this whole crazy divorce. And more than missing my old life, I think I missed my old stuff the most. I had to give up all my stuff. I basically lived on an air mattress on my parents' floor downstairs forever. And I think Allie has the same kind of problems. You know, she left home and left without anything. You know, they didn't let her take anything with her. And so we both kind of have that collector thing. Like, one, I like to preserve history. Two, I'm into nerdy stuff. And then three, I always feel like, well, I can't let this go. I might need it. You know what I mean? Once you've been through a bunch of losses, you become more of a clinger, weirdly. But you also become more of a survivor, because honestly, if I lost everything again tomorrow, I'd go, okay, I have the strength. I can rebuild again. I've done it before, I'll do it again. So it's just kind of a weird circular thing. But like I say, I think there's definitely an element of nature to it too, because I've noticed that the collecting gene sometimes runs in families. I don't know. Life is so fleeting, and I think some of us just have this built-in thing where you're trying to hold on to a piece of it and keep it there, you know? Life is always in motion is the future, right? Everything's always changing. People come and go in and out of your life, and you're always looking for that tangible thing that you can hold on to that's not going to change. Like, that's why you collect toys from your childhood. It's a piece of your childhood you get back, and it stays with you. All right, I might have went a little too deep there. A little too deep. Just saw my friend Chris Bartlett walking around. Where'd he go? Well.
How you doing?
Fancy meeting you here. You were in the perfect spot.
Well, I was just looking at the cosplayers and taking a video of them and their energy of their characters. You know?
See, this is what I really like. I came here for Don Rosa, for Uncle Scrooge stuff, and I love him because he's super passionate about what he does, and I love that you're super passionate about what you do,
thanks.
and you started out as a fan.
Yes.
That's the kind of thing that just makes me, like, love somebody, right? That's why I love you, Chris. You're a great guy. But,
thanks.
of course, Ferris was looking for you earlier, and of course,
he was.
here you are. You're right in front of the giant chicken walker.
Yes, the chicken walker.
It's, like, pretty obvious where you would end up.
Yes. But look at them. They look so official. And
It's
they were
so
like,
cool.
Love it.
I say friend like we're old buddies, but I filmed Chris in his C-3PO costume at Disneyland years ago. I think on the very first Star Wars night, or one of the very first. And he had seen that, and then we met up again when John Rhys Davies rode on Indiana Jones. He was there that day. And now I'm seeing him over here, and I followed him back on Instagram. We've been following each other's adventures. Super sweet, nice guy. And that's the best kind of story ever, right? Like, now he gets to be the guy in the suit for C-3PO and do the voice on some things. He's like all those droids in The Mandalorian. And he started out as a cosplayer building his own C-3PO suits and stuff like that. So, I mean, that is that's the guy you root for. That's the guy you want. Being on the inside now, being at Lucasfilm and being like the official actor there. And he treats the fans so well because he knows exactly what it's like to be a fan. He is a fan. Stories like that are my favorite thing ever. And those are the people I love to celebrate and support because it's like they live the dream, you know? All right, you may have noticed I spent the last remaining cash I got out of the ATM here yesterday because I saw some books. One I didn't have, this one on the front. And then I found another copy of The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. Because I couldn't bring mine out here with me, I figure I might as well buy these ones and have Don sign them while I have the chance. Which means that I will be taking one of my personal copies at home. I have more than one of The Life and Times that I'm going to be replacing with this one. I will take my original copy and I will give it to one of you. So what should the code word be? The code word is going to be Buck McDuck. You got to go over to my Instagram, look for a picture of Don Rosa on my Instagram, or me and Don Rosa together actually, and leave a comment on there, Buck McDuck, or leave that as part of your comment. Rad, dude, like Daniel's son. Oh, Mr. Miyagi! Oh my gosh, the whole squad is here. Catch any flies today? Let Daniel do it. He has beginner luck. See? Look at, there he goes, there he goes, there he goes, there he goes, there he goes.
I got one, I got
see?
one, I got one.
Beginner's luck.
I got one.
Yeah. That was awesome. Daniel's son was walking by and he was like, give me the peace sign, like, put me in the video. Like, all right. Anyway, yes, look for the picture of Don Rosa. Somewhere in your comment, leave something about Buck McDuck. B-U-C-K, Buck McDuck. Don't misspell it. I will give away to one person a copy of this book right here in my hand. Not the one signed by Don Rosa, that one's for me, sorry. But I'll inscribe it in the beginning of the book. If you want me to sign my name in there, I will. I brought more stuff, sorry. And to 2 or 3 others of you, I will send you my latest pin, the new Random Land Raft Adventure pin. So at least 3 goodies to give away Remember the secret code. My Instagram, Justin Scard, JUSTINSCARRED, 2 R's, Scard, not scared. All right, Dawn has signed 2 more things for me. We've exchanged email addresses, so we're supposed to stay in touch, so that's awesome. Spoiler alert, I was talking to somebody about maybe doing this convention. David Tennant, look at him, he's just walking around. Oh, he's got security with him. Now, maybe doing this show next year, and they're like, yeah, we could put you over in the autograph alley or whatever. And I was like, no, I want to be Don Rosa's neighbor. All right, guys, well, the convention is wrapping up. It's about to close pretty much any minute now. There's something else I want to see pretty close to downtown Kansas City. It just may or may not be open. So I guess we're going to leave Planet Comicon, which I had the best time at. Perhaps go on a little adventure. We're going to be winging it over here. Oh my gosh, would you look at the size of that sword? That'd be hard to pull from a stone. Dude, that Dalek is everywhere. I'm worried he's gonna follow me home and exterminate me. Man, it feels like that all happened and was over and done with so quickly. I'm hoping this place that I've heard about is actually open today. It is Sunday after all. I wish I hadn't blown all my cash, man. I'd get a ride from this guy. Oh, I almost forgot. I was supposed to show you another legendary Disney location in Kansas City, one that nobody knows about in the world. It took a little while to get to the parking garage. Whew. Thank goodness it was downhill. At least half of it was. It was only uphill one way, unlike my father's school. All right, but first, before we do that, gotta get away from downtown just a little ways. I gotta take a shot and see if this next place I'm trying to get to is even open. Apparently, there is a really great store up here. And I don't know when I'm gonna be back, so I'm just trying to give it a shot. Oh, I think I'm in the right neighborhood at least. Man, look at these buildings over here. Look at that amazing mid-century modern looking Chipotle over there. Never seen a Chipotle like that. Oh, yes, it's open. This is what I was looking for. Prospero's Books and Media. This is supposed to be a great used bookstore. Just my luck, it looks like they're still open. Oh, wow, look at this. Look at the size of this place. It's 3 floors of used books. Just mind the gap. Mind the hole in the floor right there. Wow. Apparently, this building was built in 1890. Look at those pressed tin ceilings. Incredible. Oh, this is cool. I love all the little holes in the wall and the glass over them. You can see some of the architectural features of the place. Look at this. I wish I had a library at home that looked like this. This looks amazing. Oh, this is so cool. Look at this stairway going up in the back. Oh, wow. The upstairs is gorgeous. Whew. I'm going to need some help after those stairs. Oh, look at this fella right here in the corner. That's a heck of a carving. How amazing is this bookstore? This is what I like. This is so awesome. They got CDs, used LPs in here. Got their own t-shirts. There's a little bit of everything. Something for everyone. Well, I might be leaving with that. Well, upstairs was cool. Found a book about the blues, which is the other thing I'm into. I was in a punk rock band. I'm really into the blues. That's what I listened to. Look at this little hole in the wall full of little artifacts. I wonder if they found these in the building. But anyway, I came back down the stairs because downstairs there's a stairway to get to the basement, which is supposedly where all the history books are. Oh, what a cool building, man. This place is epic. The stairway leads down to the basement, which is amazing. There are chairs everywhere down here. Lots of places to stop and have a read. And not only are there history books down here, there are also biographies down here, which is awesome. Now, I'm getting more and more into collecting antiquarian books. But any used book will do. I love used books. I love the feel of them. You just gotta be careful down here. A lot of hazards. I love that. So many little treasures here. I think I've done enough damage to myself for one day, though. So I'm picking up one book. I like to always try to buy at least one book on my different travels and adventures. And then we'll be off, and I'll show you that Disney location I was talking about. Well, Disney-related location. Disney-related. And I can almost guarantee you've never seen this one before. Oh, wait a minute. I found the mother lode of antiquarian books over here. Under the heading, Neat, Weird, Old. Just like me. Picked up this little book about Robert Johnson, you know? King of the Delta Blues, some people would say. I read a great book about Robert Johnson by his stepsister. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's relatively new. It's called Brother Robert. I highly recommend picking that up if you're into the blues. Anyway, we're all gonna have the blues if I don't show you this next spot, so let's get going. I feel like genuinely, Kansas City is such a cool town. Anyway, it wasn't just the home of Walt Disney. For years, Kansas City was also the home of another Disney icon, or at least I consider him a Disney icon. One of my good friends. Walt Disney may have been the first and original voice of Mickey Mouse, but I'm talking about the current modern day official voice of Mickey Mouse. Shout out to Brett Iwan. A lot of people know who Brett is, but not enough in my opinion. Brett is the official voice of Mickey Mouse. We've been friends for a while, and Brett Iwan himself once lived in Kansas City. And as a matter of fact, yesterday when I texted him that I was here, he was sending me some recommendations, just different neighborhoods to check out and stuff. And he listed off a whole bunch of Kansas City things, and then just as a joke, he told me, then of course there's 5819 Holmes, Brett Iwan's first home, and where he auditioned to be the voice of Mickey Mouse. This is so funny, dude. He sent me that just as a joke. Little did he know I would come down here. Shout out to Brett. I thought, you know what? Brett auditioned to be Mickey Mouse in this house. He recorded his audition in this very home. He was living in Kansas City working as a Hallmark card artist, I think. You're doing all kinds of art. To this day, Brett Iwan is an amazing artist. He also restored an old craftsman home in Pasadena, California. He's currently restoring wagons and old steam trains and building a ranch up in Northern California. But at one time, he was living here. And if I know anything about Brett, he probably picked that paint color. Whoever was in the house now is just waving out there like, oh, okay, just give it a little wave. Definitely don't bother the occupants of the house, the current occupants, but that's where Brett recorded his audition for Mickey Mouse. How cool is that? This is very Brett Iwan. Apparently this is a historic neighborhood, the Rock Hill Ridge neighborhood, established in 1910. Beautiful houses out here. Leave it to Brett to move into a historic home no matter where he is. And if you haven't seen Brett Iwan's art before, I highly recommend checking him out on DisneyFineArt.com. I think that's the address. Such a beautiful house. You got ivy climbing up the chimney there. Beautiful paint color. That's why I think Brett might have picked that out. Maybe the new owner kept it the same. Architecturally speaking, Kansas City is a real feast for the eyes. I gotta come back and explore it more in depth one day. It's amazing. It's been great just driving around. I sent Brett a couple of pictures. He hasn't replied yet. He's gonna be like, what the heck are you doing? But think about it. Brett has been the voice of Mickey Mouse for quite a while now, approaching 2 decades. And the audition happened right there in that little house in Kansas City, one of Walt Disney's hometown. So another Disney location. One day, maybe that place will be on the National Register of Historic Places as well. I sure hope so. 5819 Holmes. Hopefully the homeowner doesn't mind this too much. A historic location, my friends, a historic location. Now, speaking of friends, I have another very dear friend who still lives kind of in the area in another town a little ways west of here called Lawrence, Kansas, which is about a little less than an hour drive away. Really looking forward to seeing my friend Al, one of my favorite friends on the planet, my brother from another mother. I know you don't see a lot of travel posters for See Kansas City, but I gotta say, if you're out there looking for an adventure, add Kansas City to the list. So many good museums here, which unfortunately are gonna be closed tomorrow on my one day off, but we'll get up to some hijinks tomorrow as well, don't you worry. Including, yes, some more Walt Disney connected places. I mean, the other museums are shut, and anyway, when in Rome, or Kansas City, do as the Kansas Romans do? It's funny, like, friendships come and friendships go. Some friends are only in your life for a season, and that's perfectly fine. But there's other friends you have that are like your witnesses, you know? Al is one of those people that I would say, that guy knows me, you know what I mean? His band, KTP, Kings of the Plains, and my band used to tour back in the day. Used to play shows all over Southeast Kansas, all over the country, really. He's seen and heard me do some of the dumbest stuff of my entire life, but he's a good friend. And I love seeing the guy. Man, the last time we hung out in person was 2022, which is already 3 years. What the heck is happening? I guess there's really no YouTube reason to share the fact that I'm going to my friend Al's house, but I like to share the highs, I like to share the lows. I sort of live my life like an open wound. Everything I'm allowed to share with you guys, I do. When it has to do with other people, that's when I often have to draw a line or whatever. I was just thinking about every time I have to share, you know, bad news, oh, I'm broke, or I'm tired, or I'm sick, or anything like that, people complain, oh, this guy's always whining. Nobody ever says anything the rest of the year when things are going well. Like today, great day. Gotta share the highs, gotta share the lows. That's what makes up a life. One of the best things in life is good friends, treasured friends. Aww. Dude, I am so pumped to be back. Last time I was here with the broken van. This time I got no worries but seeing my old pal, Al. Almos! Dude, what's up, man? Dude, I'm so happy to be in Kansas because I see you. This is just proof that I came to see you. I was talking about you today, and I was just thinking, like, I was talking about it in the video, and I even said something like, I know nobody cares who my friend Al is, but I just love Al. I know, I was like, I wish everybody could know Al. I wish everyone could have an Al. And see, she agrees, she knows. All right, guys, I don't know why I felt the need to extend the video to my friend Al's house. I just feel like everyone should know Al. He's Al, he's just my buddy. But now we stayed up way too late talking. We're gonna get together again tomorrow. So it's time for me to head back to Kansas City and back to my hotel. So I'm leaving Lawrence now, and I guess this is probably where we should call it. Thank you guys for hanging out. We do have a Patreon. We do have a merch store. Just go to randomland.com. All the links are there, including the link for my Instagram. Don't forget the secret words. We've done our duty. We can motel and sleep well. Hasta la vista. That is so cool, dude. Blade. No one's ever Blade. You're pulling it off. You're doing it. Oh, you got the spikes and everything. Look at that. Dude, crushing it. Blade. He needs the big comeback. Yes! Dude, you don't just have the look, you got the moves.
I try.
Thank God I'm not a vampire.